Tuesday, May 21st. This is going to be quick because I have delayed this morning. So I'm going to fly through the stock market indexes. This is market analysis. I start out with the stock market indexes and I go to the futures markets. First, the E-mini. Looks like the market's trying to top out. Overbought conditions in all of the stock market indexes, and we actually got an official sell signal yesterday in the YM, the Dow DIA futures contract. Not yet, and it doesn't look like we're going to get one today in the E-mini, but it's overbought. All of these indexes are overbought. Most of the indexes have a pretty good looking potential double top formation, which if that's true, is going to start a fairly sizable correction. But let's see it start first. We've got all the makings of it, but it's just not starting to pull back yet. New highs with a new high closing price could probably cause another price explosion upwards real fast. But closing below last Thursday's low is the key at the moment to having more downside weakness short term. And then you've got the 1 minute E-mini chart, and we're dipping some, but not really that much at the moment. We're going to go to the spider daily data chart, same as the E-mini as you should expect, except it's got a gap to close from last week. So that implies it's going to have some weakness to close the gap at a minimum. You're looking at the 1 minute, now 5 minute spider chart, and we just need to get below last Thursday's low in order to start something on the downside to close that little gap there. And then even more weakness, I think. NASDAQ, QQQ, daily, same picture, small gap, at support, overbought conditions. I think it should be starting a downside swing here. And it'll last for probably 1 or 3 weeks. QQQ 5 minute, got to get below today's earlier low and then below Thursday's low. Next is the NASDAQ daily futures contract. I do expect the low that we had back on April 19th to be challenged on this expected, not looking like it's starting yet, downside correction, which I'm forecasting, but it just don't jump the gun. Wait for some indication that we're starting to show some more weakness. There's plenty of elbow room here. Next, NASDAQ 5 minute, got to get below this morning's low, and then Thursday's low. Also, the Russell, a little different story. Major multi-year historical resistance level seems to be stopping the rally again. Overbought conditions again. Why not pull back to about where it did before with the low having been made on April 19th? I certainly think that's plausible. 1970 comes to mind for a downside objective. And then the Russell 1 minute, need to start breaking down some more. And the Dow Futures YM has yesterday a bearish engulfing ER sell signals. That's a combination of overbought conditions on my custom relative strength index. Down here at the bottom, I learned RSI from Wells Wilder himself in the 70s and 80s. And it is a bearish engulfing on top of the overbought. So I expect the indexes to start working lower, and this is an outright point blank sell signal. Let's find out if it works or not. You don't know until after the fact, right? That one worked great. Minor double top, and now part of maybe a significantly larger double top, and that was for April 1st. Right to the low, the move, and a buy signal, ER green buy signal on April 19th. And now it went right up to another sell signal, but too early to say. Let's see if it works. Why not? Here's the 5 minute, 1 minute rather, chart on the DIA. Yesterday's sell signal prices. Scalp lost, I think, a little bit. Yeah, probably just a little bit. 20 hundredths, 20 little ticks. And we are currently profitable on that new short sale entry yesterday, slightly profitable. The little green line here is a trade line from the entry price and time to the current tick. If it's red, it's losing money, and it might turn red any second. It's going up a little, but it's still green for the moment. Okay, bonds. Well, I'm going to go to, bonds. Back in the channel. I see nothing wrong with it coming back down to 115 to 114 and a half, the support level. And it could even get down to the low of the channel again, which would be new lows in a week or 2 or 3. 10-year notes, also overbought at a resistance level, a little bit above the channel, but now we're starting to maybe get back in the channel again. Pretty much the same picture as bonds. Next, we've got soybeans. Beans, meal, corn, wheat. We got buy signals, 4 out of 5. Only soybean oil, we didn't get a buy signal at the bottom of the market. Beans, double bottom, buy signal in the second low, April 19th, doing great. Minor correction today, looking for higher levels, period. Next, soybean oil could be forming, looks like it has finished forming the last shoulder low over the last couple of weeks on a giant 2-year head and shoulder bottom. That's the head of the formation, May of 23. The first shoulder low is approximately July of 22. And now May of 24. Last shoulder low starting to work its way higher out of the shoulder. This is a very bullish long-term pattern if it works, and I'm skeptical about that. I'll go into the details later. Next, meal. Got the bottom of the market to the exact day with a buy signal February 29th. Great move up so far. Came down to some support that I've had on this chart for quite a while. Bounced very accurately off the support a few different times in the last couple of weeks. And now it looks like it's trying to start to go into new high ground. Bullish, looking for a test of previous highs at 389.90, or let's call it 390 flat, and higher. Next, corn. Bought the bottom of the corn market to the exact day on February 26th. This all happened real time. Go back and watch my videos on those dates. Don't believe what I'm telling you here. Haha. So, looking for higher levels. I'm looking for it to make new highs. Actually looking for it to come up to about 500 in corn. What about wheat? Got the bottom. Actually, 2 buy signals back to back. One of them March 8th, and then the lowest low for the whole bear move, March 11th. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the lowest price since the beginning of the war, which was extremely higher way back on, what was it, March 8th, I believe, of 22. And it was an ER official red sell signal. Unbelievable. We caught the top of the market as it was screaming limit up bid days in a row in anticipation of the war. Sell signal on the very top, a few good and bad both in the process are coming down, and finally the last buy signal was the bottom so far. I think that's doing pretty good so far. Cattle hit the resistance level I've been talking about for a week now, and we're overbought. Prime candidate for it to turn back down some. I'm thinking a downside correction would be a 174-ish, 174.30, and it could start at any time now because it's punching against resistance and right about high and last right now. Now, it could get into the resistance area a little bit, but in that little yellow zone is where I'm thinking it's going to start to turn down. Hogs, we got the top of the market to the day. Sell signal, red, April 10th, ER sell signal, head of a head and shoulder top. I didn't know it at the time, but once I saw this rally high start to fail, and that was on April 24th, I started talking about a head and shoulder top. It did break out, and it's gone already halfway down to its minimum downside objective, which is a little under 95, 94.70, 94.50, call it. Today is a new low for the move down. We had a buy signal that just plain old didn't work whatsoever. There was a chance that it made a little tiny bit of a day trade profit, but it's small. And the overnight ER1 trade probably lost a little bit. We're now definitely flat, and I'm looking for lower levels, again, to the minimum objective of 94.42 or even lower. We're getting oversold again, so there may very well be a little bit of a bounce in a day or two after going, I think, a little lower first and then bouncing again. Next, the E-mini again, and I'm going to go to the New York exchanges, and we haven't resolved the data feed problem with Ninja yet, so I'm going to go to TradeStation to show you the New York futures contracts. Head and shoulder top in crude oil, broke out on the downside May 1st and retraced to the neckline. Yesterday's rally high, failed, lower close, not overbought, but that's a good place price-wise for the pattern to fail on a rally. So now I'm looking for a new low for the move down and eventually getting at least at a minimum 74.5 or lower in the next 2 to 3 weeks, maybe even sooner than that. Next, we've got natural gas June, and what a strong market. Very overbought, up to about 88 almost. But today looks like it could be a reversal day. Now, I don't have a red bar. It didn't get below yesterday's low. We don't have a bearish engulfing, but we do have significant overbought conditions and approaching very, very closely previous rally highs, which would be resistance. I'm thinking it's turning, but I think the bull move is not ending. I'm looking for a move down to 2.400 in that area and then turn back up again. Next, heating oil. Got oversold at a support level, previous important lows going back to December and looks like January this year. And oversold condition, bounced a little bit, couldn't even get into new highs for more than about a week and a half and turning down today. We could go sideways a little here. We could bounce around and make another rally out of this, but I don't think it's going to go anywhere for any length of time on the upside. And I do look for new lows for the trend relatively soon, a few days to a week. Next, we've got gold, double top potentially, overbought conditions on both highs. Looking for a move down to probably at first about 2,366, then 2,286. And if that is broken on a closing basis, we're probably going to go all the way back down to about 2,170, maybe even 2,140. Next, silver. A doji inside trading range, very overbought, likely to be topping out. Can't prove it at the moment. I'd like to see it close below yesterday's low ASAP in order to start something a little bit more bearish. First downside objective would be where it came down to before, 26 and a third. Let's see it get there first. Next, platinum had yesterday a bearish engulfing ER official sell signal, red. Yesterday, new high for the move. It is so far the high day. Today, we made a lower low than the previous 4 trading days. And not staying down there very well, closing relatively close to unchanged, but I do think we hit a high yesterday. And I do expect it to drop off to probably 1,021 or lower real quickly here. Next stopping point on the way down would be about 968 and a half. Copper, overbought for about a week and a fraction. No signal. Doji should start turning down ASAP. Don't jump the gun. Don't see any particularly bearish price action yet. Waiting for confirmation of a top. Next, OJ. Got to say the same thing for OJ. Overbought, new high, probable new high close. Going to move up a little bit more before it turns down, but it should be very soon in price and very soon in time, the turn down. And if that happens, and I do expect it, I think it's going to come down to 383 and a half very quickly. Next, very large symmetrical head and shoulder top forming in sugar. The shoulder on the left is a slightly upward slanted, so the shoulder on the right is slightly downward slanted. Both of them took about the same amount of time, a couple of months to form. The head of the formation is relatively flat, slightly rounded on the top, and a classic head and shoulder top formation appearance-wise. But it's pretty big. It's 1 year in size. Not that that's too big. The neckline, when it was broken on May 13th, just a little over a week ago, broke the neckline classically, came back up, touched the neckline the next couple of days almost exactly, classic, went down, made new lows, came back up again, almost touching the line yesterday, neckline yesterday, and slipping a little at the moment. Now, yesterday was an official buy signal, that's true, but I don't trust it simply because it's in a wrong place on the chart formation. We shouldn't, if the formation's good, go up above that neckline, and so far today we have not. Getting below, closing below yesterday's low is going to tell me it's going to collapse real fast and keep on coming down. The minimum downside objective on this pattern is about 13.5 sugar, July futures contract. Next, we've made new lows for the trend down yesterday in cocoa, a little bounce today. Don't think it's going to bounce much. Look for it to make new lows to the trend again very soon. Not overbought. So there's downside elbow room. First stop on the downside should be around 6,240, 240-ish. And then there's a couple little layers a little below that. Another one seems good as 5,608. And we'll see what happens when we get down there. Coffee. Sharp rally today. Almost overbought. I think it should stop right about where it did at today's highs so far. And it may stop a little bit higher than that, around 228, 229, 229. But I don't think it's going to go very far. I do think it's going to turn back down, and we are almost overbought again. So I think this rally is about to fail. Next, we got cotton the rag. Buy signal was okay for a couple of days, not very good. ER3 actually kicked in pretty accurately, very close to the low of the break on those little green dots right in here. So signal basically failed in the end, but there was some money in the trade. New lows happened a few days ago, and now I'm looking for a move down probably to 72 to 70. And that was cotton the rag. Going to end there. This is bonds. We looked at it already. You guys have a great profitable trading day. Thank you very much.